What I wanted to tell you now is the difference between our plan and Allah's plan. I have a plan, and Allah has a plan. I have a plan of where I'm going to go to school, when I'm going to get married, when I'm going to get a job, where I'm going to get a job, how much money I'm going to save, where I'm going to buy a house, where I'm going to live. I have all these plans. I have plans for my kids. I have plans for my parents. I have financial plans. I have, exercise plans. I have health plans. I have all these plans, right? And sometimes Allah has a completely different plan in store for me. So sometimes my plan is exactly the same as Allah's plan and things go well, exactly as I expected. Other times I was expecting things to go one way and Allah decided things should go another way. And your plans get completely what? Ruined. Your plans get completely ruined. What we're learning in this story is you have to trust Allah's plan. No human being could have made a plan to take a baby, and if you want to save him, throw him in a river. And if you really want to save him, deliver him to the Egyptian castle. That's not a logical plan by any stretch of the human imagination. No human being on earth would have come up with that plan. And if they did, they would have been called insane. Nobody would have considered that a good plan. The only one who has the wisdom to know that that is a good plan is who? Allah. That's it. No one else knows this. What I'm trying to get across to you is sometimes Allah has a plan different from what you have in mind. But how do you know it's good for you? This is the key. It is only good for you if you do your part. Allah's plan is not only Allah. Allah's plan is a partnership between what He will do for you and what you will do for yourself. I'll say that again. Allah's plan is a partnership between you and Allah. He will do for you and you will also have to do for yourself. This woman is being told by Allah, baby will come back. That's Allah's part. Allah's guarantee is what? Baby will come back. What is her part? At least she sent her daughter out. Now if you ask, it's a fair question. Me sending my daughter out, does that guarantee that my child will come back to me? No. There's not even a clear logical connection between the girl going out and a guarantee that the baby will be saved. Is there? No. But she has limited resources. She doesn't have much that she can do. The most she can do is send her daughter out, so she does. And she leaves the rest to who? Allah. What does Allah want from you? Give me the most that you can do, I'll do the rest. I don't expect you to come up with the entire plan, but what Allah does expect from you is what? Your most. Are you honestly able to say you did your most? Because if you don't do your most, Allah's plan will never be executed for you. He had a good plan for you, you just didn't do your part. You see, if this girl goes out, which she does, then what does Allah do? Allah makes sure the baby doesn't drink milk from anybody else. Allah makes sure these girls come out, these women come out. Allah makes sure that those women talk to this girl. Allah makes sure that this girl, by the way, she does her part again. She's smart enough to point them back to her family, but not in too obvious of a way. All of that was something the girl had to do. The girl had a part, the mom had a part, and then Allah had a big part. You know what the problem is most of the time with our plans? When things don't go well, what do? We blame Allah and we say Allah didn't do His part. And you know most of the time what the case is? The case is Allah's part was waiting to happen. What didn't happen? You didn't do your part. If the mother never sent out her child, she would have no right to say, how come Allah promised me my child will come back? He never came back. We're learning something very powerful about the way Allah's promise works. Allah will provide you rizq. Allah has the promise He'll provide you rizq. But if you don't apply for jobs, don't blame Allah. That's your problem. And you're not going to get a job because you applied. That will be because Allah helped. But Allah will not help until you try. You understand this connection? It's very, very key. So with that powerful connection, inshallah ta'ala, I'll give you your next break. This is the guide. Immediately, by the way, Musa alayhi salam, immediately, قَالَ هَذَا مِنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ. This is from the work of shaitan. This is from the work of the devil. Why in the world did he say that is one of the most important lessons of the evening. Why is this from the work of the devil? Was his intention to help a Muslim brother? Yes. Was his intention to help a Muslim brother who was being oppressed? Yes. Has he seen this 1,000 times before? Yes. So is his intention good or bad? Yet, as soon as he does it, he says, this was from the work of shaitan. Why? Because al-ajilatu min ash-shaitan, rushing to judgment and taking action without understanding the complete circumstance and all of its consequences is from the shaitan, even if you have good intention. Even if you have good intention, you take action without fully understanding the situation, you are doing the work of shaitan. Doesn't matter if you have good intention. Shaitan uses lots of people with good intentions too. Because they don't use their head, they just use their heart. The heart says, good intention, good enough. I'm doing this for the sake of my ummah. Now you know what this reminds me. He says this is from the work of shaitan. إِنَّهُ عَدُوٌ مُضِلٌّ مُبِينٌ. He is clearly an enemy that misguides, obviously misguides. By the way, young people want to get involved in jihad, fi sabilillah, qital fi sabilillah. We want to kill and fight the kuffar. We want to do this, that. Are you clear that you are not going and adding to the mayhem and to the chaos and to the violence and to the unnecessary death and destruction? That you're not becoming a part of the problem and part of this? You are not clear at all. It is your emotions talking. But your intention is good. Guess what? هذا من عمل الشيطان. Especially when it means taking the life of another. If you don't understand the full circumstance, you cannot take action. You cannot take action. The situation today is muddled in so much of the world. But young people want to, now we have the situation where people want to fly off out of here and go fight this or that. They don't even know. They don't even know. But they want to do it because their intention is pure. Subhanallah. And by the way, Musa alayhi salam is so amazing. He doesn't just turn to Allah and say, Ya Allah, that wasn't me, that was who? Oh, shaitan. Because some guys do that. They mess up and then they're like, yo bro, I'm a good guy, but sometimes shaitan gets me, man. Sometimes you don't know what happens. Some shaitan just comes and I hate that guy. Boop, 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 shaitan. It's a partnership, my friend. Shaitan comes and gives you a suggestion, but he cannot control you. You have to make the decision yourself. Which is why in the very next ayah, what does Musa say, alayhi salam? He says, قَالَ رَبِّ إِنِّي ظَلَمْتُ نَفْسِي. Master, I'm the one who in fact wronged myself. I did wrong, I take full responsibility. Yes, I listened to shaitan. I rushed. This is the kind of thing shaitan would want me to do, but that was my fault. That was my fault. I take full responsibility. فَاغْفِرْ لِي. So forgive me. Tell me something. Is Musa a prophet yet? No. Musa is just a young man right now who got involved in this hustle, this little bit of a skirmish, but he is not a prophet. Everybody clear about that? Okay. Here's one of the most important questions that is constantly asked by Muslims all the time. I have done some sin. It's pretty bad. Ustad, I don't want to tell you. Even thinking about it makes me shiver, makes me cry. I can't believe I made this mistake. I don't know what was going on in my head. I regret it. I've made istighfar. I've asked Allah to forgive me, but I can't get out of my head what I did. It's so terrible what I did. I can't believe I let myself do that. How do I move on from that? How do I know Allah actually forgave me? How do I know I can live my life and not be haunted by this mistake? This is the ayah that tells you, Ya Allah, I made a mistake, forgive me. What mistake did he make? A small mistake or a big mistake? That's a big mistake, man. Taking somebody's life? That's the kind of thing that can haunt you the rest of your life. You'll never be able to get over that. You'd never be able to move on from that. He says to Allah, فَاغْفِرْ لِي, forgive me. Forgive me. And the next ayah, the next part of the ayah says, فَغَفَرَ لَهُ, therefore he forgave him. Tell me, did Allah reveal to him that he's forgiven? No. How do we know that? Because he's not a what yet? He's not a prophet yet. And when you make a mistake and you ask Allah to forgive you, does Allah reveal to you that he's forgiven you? No. But you know what? You have to believe. You absolutely must believe, because of this ayah, that when you ask Allah for forgiveness, that absolutely Allah what? Forgives. And you have absolutely no right to ever think, I'm not sure if Allah forgave me. You don't have a right to think that. If you genuinely asked Allah to forgive, then the guarantee in the ayah is فَغَفَرَ لَهُ, he forgave him. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Exceeding, no doubt about it, he's the one who exceedingly covers up, and forgives. And by the way, the word forgiveness, just a little bit about it, mighfar is a cover. Literally, he covers it so you can pass over it and go. You're not constantly thinking about it because it's covered for you. Allah covers it for you. Move on with your life. Yes, you and I have made mistakes, some big and some small, and we regret them. But the fact that we have made istighfar, The fact that we turn to Allah and ask for forgiveness is enough. Don't let it haunt you for the rest of your life. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Now Musa alayhi salam is in kind of trouble. Because he's just committed accidental murder. He's okay with Allah. Allah forgave him, but that doesn't mean what? That doesn't mean what? The Egyptians forgave him. وَأَصْبَحَ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ خَائِفًا. The next morning he has to come back into the city. It's the morning time. Is the morning time busy or is the morning time empty? Morning time is busy. Afternoon time is empty. Remember that? So he comes into the morning. In the morning time he goes into the same city. خَائِفًا, full of fear. Why is he full of fear? Because cops are looking for what? Who's seen this? Who's seen what happened? There's investigations going on everywhere. Musa is walking around nervous. يَتَرَقَّبُ, watching every single step. فَإِذَا الَّذِي اسْتَنصَرَهُ بِالْأَمْسِ يَسْتَصْرِخُ. Out of nowhere he turns a corner. The same guy that was calling for him the day before, the same guy that sought his help yesterday, is screaming for him again. Hey bro, come here, I need your help again. Give me one of them super knockout punches. I got another one for you. He's in the same dude's in another fight. And he ran into Musa alayhi salam again. Of all the people he wanted to see. He sees this guy and he's calling him to, hey bro, come, could you, help. Musa alayhi salam's like, no, I'm not doing that again. قَالَ إِنَّكَ لَغَوِيٌّ مُبِينٌ. No way, dude, you are clearly a con artist. You tried to pickpocket the other guy who's beating you up. Now you tried to steal from this guy, he's beating you up. I'm not helping you anymore. So now nobody is helping that corrupt thief of a Muslim who's taken a beating. And his fellow Muslim brother, Musa alayhi salam, is standing there and watching. And Musa alayhi salam starts thinking to himself, yesterday I acted too quickly, and therefore it cost a life. Today I refuse to act, and that might also cost a life. Because that guy's taken a beating, the Egyptian soldier might do what? Might beat him to death. And today I will be guilty again because I could have saved a life. Yesterday I acted too quickly and rashly, and today I refuse to act. Those are two extremes, aren't they? Those are two extremes. The Quran is about balance. So what does he do? فَلَمَّا أَرَادَ أَنْ يَبْطِشَ بِالَّذِي هُوَ عَدُوٌّ لَهُمَا. Finally, when he showed the intent that he's going to come over and grab the guy who is being an enemy to both of them. In other words, he's not going to kill the soldier. What's he going to do? Just grab him and basically immobilize him, basically neutralize the threat. That's all. He's not going to kill anybody. He's just going to grab. By the way, he didn't grab. He just showed the intention. Meaning he leaned off the wall and he started walking towards the fight. Now who are the two people in the fight? The Egyptian and the corrupt thief, right? The corrupt thief is taking a beating. He's getting pounded, grounded and pounded, whatever you call it. And what does he see from the side of his face as his schema is being made out of it? Who's walking over? Musa is walking over. The guy who's taking a beating thinks to himself, he wasn't helping me a while ago. All of a sudden he's walking over this way. He must be mad about yesterday. And he might be coming over here to join in on the beatdown. I can take a lot of Egyptian punches, but if he throws one of those, it's game over, homie. I need to do something. I need to save myself from that guy, because he must be mad about yesterday. Did Musa come to hit him or to save him? He came to save him, but a criminal, criminals only think ill of other people. So he's thinking he's coming to hurt him. And the only thing he has against Musa is the fact that he's the only witness to the crime. So from the place of taking a beating, he goes, قال يا Musa. He said, hey, Musa, أتريد أن تقتلني? Do you want to kill me? كما قتلت نفسا بالأمس. Do you want to kill me like you killed someone yesterday? What time is it? Morning. Are there people around? How did he start his sentence? Hey, Musa, you want to kill me like you did yesterday? The whole street comes to a halt. Everybody's like, and they're all looking at who? Musa alayhi salam. إن تريد إلا أن تكون جبارا في الأرض وما تريد أن تكون من المصلحين. You just want to be a bully going around beating up people. You're not here to do any good. That's what the criminal says. Now Musa alayhi salam has been ratted out in public, in front of the entire crowd. He has to go run into hiding somewhere. They're looking around like this. Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? Pay attention. If I walk this way and I walk for 100 miles, I will end up somewhere, yes? But if I walk this way for 100 miles, will I end up somewhere entirely different? And if I walk this way for 100 miles, will I end up somewhere entirely different? Yes? Even a little bit of a change of angle, I might end up somewhere completely different. And now if you're walking in the desert, and you're off by 1 degree, could that mean you just end up in the middle of nowhere and just die of dehydration? Is that possible? Which means when he's going to walk it off, and you might even end up walking in a circle in the desert, for God's sake. You won't even know. So when he's walking in the middle of a desert, he has no GPS, no map, no nothing. He's looking around like this. We know that because the ayah tells us. Look at the beautiful ayah about GPS. وَلَمَّا تَوَجَّهَ تِلْقَاءَ مَدْيَنَ. When his face turned in the exact, precise direction of the city of Madian, which is hundreds of miles away. But when his face turned in the precise direction of Madian, قَالَ عَسَى رَبِّي أَن يَهْدِيَنِي سَوَاءَ السَّبِيلِ. He said, maybe my master will guide me to the straightest path. Allah put in his heart, this is the way you need to go. Imagine. Just that. This is GPS from who? From Allah. Every step is being guided. And by the way, if you're going to walk in the desert, what's going to kill you? What's going to kill you? Thirst. وَلَمَّا وَرَدَ مَاءَ مَدْيَنَ. When he finally reached the waters of Madian. He got there somehow. Somehow with whatever rashes he had, he survived. And now with the next thing we know, he has reached the waters of Madian. He leans over, he's trying to sip as much water as he can. He notices he's not alone. وَجَدَ عَلَيْهِ أُمَّةً مِّنَ النَّاسِ يَسْقُونَ. He finds a group of people there giving their animals to drink. There are sheep that are being fed, cows that are being fed, camels that are being fed. They're all drinking from the same pond. وَوَجَدَ مِن دُونِهِمْ امْرَأَتَيْنِ تَذُودَانِ. Far away from them, he found 2 girls that are tugging away at their sheep. So what does he see? 2 girls up on top of the hill. They've got a bunch of sheep. And those sheep, they're in the desert. They see the water. When the sheep see the water, what do they want to do? Go drink it. So the sheep are heading down. And these girls are, and the sheep are winning. Then the girls, he turned to Allah and he made this dua. قَالَ رَبِّي إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ إِلَيَّ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَقِيرٌ. Master, whatever good you can send to me, I could desperately use it. Whatever good you send my way, I could desperately use it. This dua has 2 meanings. Because the word good is 2 things here. The word good means 2 things. Let me explain both of those things. Ya Allah, I have no home, I have no clothes, I have no food, I just have this water to drink over here. I am a fugitive from my home country. I don't know where I'm going to sleep. I don't know where I'm going to how I'm going to live. Whatever good you send me, I will take it. That's the first meaning. You understand? Here's the second meaning. Ya Allah, I made a pretty big mistake. I know that. And I know you've forgiven me. But I have a guilty conscience. And I want to make up for what I did, not just by asking you for forgiveness, but by doing good things. So just like you gave me a chance to help these 2 girls, if you send me any other volunteer opportunity, I could totally use it. You understand the 2 meanings? Any material good you give me, I could use it. Any opportunity to do a good deed you can give me, I could use it. If you have skeletons in your closet, if you have a mistake you've made before, then you are desperate to Allah to do any good you can. So he says, Ya Allah, I just helped those 2 girls, but if you need me to do anything else, let me know. I'm available. I'll make up for it. How do you know that you're really, really, really earning Allah's forgiveness? You are desperate to do what? Good. Even when you have nothing yourself. Even then. Everybody can offer something. This is the dua he makes. It's so beautiful. One of the girls walked over to him walking shyly. When they were together, they were tough. She's by herself. She got nervous. And so she comes over and she says, yeah, me again. Inna abi yad'uka. Okay, first of all, for real, it's my dad. He's the one calling you. It's nothing to do with me, okay? It's just my dad, he's calling you. لِيَجْزِيَكَ أَجْرَ مَا سَقَيْتَ لَنَا. So he could pay you for the animals you fed for us. She's super nervous. She comes and tells him that. Now, if he had takalluf, alhamdulillah, Musa alayhi salam was not a man of takalluf. If he was one of you, I did that for the sake, I did that for the sake of Allah. Sister, I want the reward in the akhirah. Don't tell me about dunya. Let me do it. Allah will give me. He understands that is stupid. He understands he just asked Allah for what? Whatever good you give me, I could use it. And the next ayah begins with the letter fa. فَجَاءَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ. Ya Allah, whatever you give me, I could use it. Therefore, one of them came walking, asking to pay him. Therefore. Meaning the word therefore is there because it is the result of his dua. So he recognizes this is Allah answering his dua. When people are offering you help, idiot, it is Allah offering you help. Don't say, like, you haven't found a job, nobody's calling for their resume. You meet a brother at the masjid, I heard you were looking for a job, I might have an opening. No, it's okay. Ugh. You just asked Allah just sent this guy your way and you're kicking him away, dummy. Don't become a beggar, don't beg people, but when people are offering you help, don't turn it down. It's not humiliating. It's a gift from Allah. So he says, let's go get paid. He went. He just, فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُ, and he finally got to him. وَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَص. Then Musa alayhi salam, obviously homeless guy, sitting there, getting paid. The father must have asked him, so what's going on with you? Tell me what's going on. And Musa alayhi salam has a lot on his chest, yeah? He's been through a lot. And now he sees a comforting man asking him what's up. So what does he do? He tells him everything. Well, it's a kind of a long story. I was a baby, supposed to be killed, raised as a prince. Kills her, the whole thing. And there are two girls on the other side of the wall. Oh my God. Oh, the poor thing. And they hear the whole story. And that's how I ended up here. The girl on the other side, one of them, قالت يا أبتي. She said, Dad, Abba, Baba Jan, Papa, Daddy. And there's a ta in there, Abba, Ti. If you say Abi, it means my dad. Hey Dad, could you come here? If you say Abati, it means Dad, I love you. Come here a second. Dad, my beloved father, Pyare Abba Jan, could you come here for a second? And what does she say? Dad, I love you so much. Here's what I want you to do. Istajirhu. Hire him. Acha. Hire him. I understand. Because if he hires him, where's he going to work? At the house. Young man, ripe for marriage, working at the house all day with two unmarried girls right there. This is explosive explosive materials in close contact with each other. The only way to make the situation sane is what? At least marry one of them off to him, make him family. But she's shy to say, come on, Dad, there's not any decent guy in this whole town. I know, I checked. I go out every day. The good men are hard to find. This guy is an honest human being. And he's so strong. And he could do our work. And he could take care of the family. And I kind of like him. And that's why I was shy when I was talking to him too. And he didn't even, try to hit on me or anything when we were walking. He walked in front and he told me to walk in front and guide me. And I walked in the back. He has that much integrity. He's the right man. We're not going to find another good man again like that. Dad, hire him. إِنَّ خَيْرَ مَنِ اسْتَأْجَرْتَ الْقَوِيُّ الْأَمِينُ. The best kind of person you can hire is the strong, the honest. He's got both the qualities we need. We need someone strong who can do this work. And we need an honest man because there are no honest men around here. That's the best kind of person you could hire. Now the father, amazingly enough, understands his daughter's code. He says, I got you, girl. I'll take care of you. He comes back out, and what do you expect him to say? I'd like to hire you. What does he say? إِنِّي أُرِيدُ أَنْ أُنْكِحَ إِحْدَى ابْنَتَيَّ هَاتَيْنِ. I want to marry one of my 2 girls to you. He understands his daughter or no? And by the way, the proposal came from the boy or came from the girl? Astaghfirullah al-azim. The proposal came from the girl. And she told her dad, I like that boy. And the dad, and she was shy to say it, so she said it in code. And what was her code? Hire him. And the dad was not dumb. He was a wise man. So he understood her code, and he translated it properly, and went out and said, listen, I'd like to marry one of my 2 girls to you. But also, first of all, the first astaghfirullah is the girl proposed. The second astaghfirullah is that the girl actually has had more time with him than the dad has. Outside. She's seen him outside. She's seen him in the real world. The dad's only had a conversation with him. That's it. That's all he's had. The third astaghfirullah is that he doesn't have a job. He's homeless and also an illegal immigrant. You understand, right? Not to mention, this is Madian, which means they are Arab, and he's Israeli. You understand this? And the girl says, I want to marry an Israeli believer who is homeless, who has run away and he's wanted for murder, but he's an honest guy. The only thing going for him. And dad says, I think you're right. So I say, young men who are not married, show of hands, young men who are not married, okay, it's okay. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Have some hope. When you go talk to her father, at least you haven't killed anyone. If it worked out for him, it'll work out for you. You just have to be strong and what? Honest. Those are the 2 things required of you. 2 things. Very hard to find, by the way. Those 2 things. People present a fake version of themselves when marriage talks are happening. They're not honest about who they are. And their families lie on their behalf too. There's lying going on left and right. And it's so ugly. And it's so simple in our religious honesty. Even if something bad happened, just be honest about it. Just let people know. Let them know. So he says, I want to marry one of my 2 girls to you. Ala an ta'jurani. In exchange for you working for me. Oh my God, the next astaghfirullah al-azim is that Musa alayhi salam worked for his in-laws. And he lived with his in-laws. We say in our culture, you can't be a real man and live with your in-laws. I would like you to say that to Musa alayhi salam. See how that works out for you. Because if you're challenging the manhood of Musa alayhi salam, then you are free to say, a real man don't live with his in-laws. A real man is not hired by his father-in-law. This is shattering so many cultural assumptions that we have put on ourselves that make our life difficult. So many. People are humiliated for no reason. Anything a prophet does becomes noble. If Musa alayhi salam did it, it is noble. It is acceptable. Far beyond acceptable. It's noble. It's noble. But now, Joru ke ghulam, susral ke ghulam. We have all these things to say to these people. You have to respect people's circumstances. And now in the midst of all of this, was there extensive family conversations? No, let's discuss this with your khala, and then khala's pupi, and then chachi, and chachi's tai, and my barber, and then we'll have several meetings. Is there any of this complication here? Girl pulls dad in, dad hire him, he says, gotcha, he comes out, okay, you know what, done deal. Why don't you work for me for 8 years? Why 8 years? He asks for 8 years because, first of all, Musa is homeless. Even if he does marry her, now there's going to be 2 homeless people. So he needs to give them a home. And if it's 8 years, it'll be enough time for him to save up some money for himself, start a family. And if he stays for 8 years, then it gives the father 8 more years to find a boy for who? The other girl. This solves all these problems all at the same time. It gives Musa a chance, alayhi salam, to build his independence. And Musa turns around and says, هَذَا مَا بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكَ. This is between you and me. Done deal. I like it. And by the way, the father added one more thing. وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشُقَّ عَلَيْكَ وَإِنْ أَتْمَمْتَ عَشْرًا فَمِنْ عِنْدِكَ وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشُقَّ عَلَيْكَ. By the way, if you want to work for me 10 years, you could do that too. You could do 8 or you could do 10. By the way, you would think that father's being aggressive. But actually the father's being kind. Because 8 to 10 years of free housing, with a job, with a family, for a guy who's basically what? Homeless. This is all to the advantage of Musa alayhi salam. They're both benefiting from this. Okay? And he's looking out for Musa alayhi salam as much as he is for his own daughters. Musa alayhi salam says, this is a deal between you and me. أَيَّمَا الْأَجَلَيْنِ قَضَيْتْ فَلَا عُدْوَانَ عَلَيَّ. Whichever one of the 2 deadlines I am able to meet, then don't be hating on me. Okay, if I do 8 and want to go away, don't say, don't take my girl, come on. I thought you were going to do 10. You can't put any pressure on me. What are we learning in this ayah? In-laws should not put pressure on the son-in-law. It's in the Quran. And vice versa, by the way. And vice versa. And he says, Wallahu ala ma naqulu wakil. Allah is watching over whatever we say. Two people get married in the story. How do they get married? The boy meets girl outside, but doesn't do anything inappropriate. Doesn't date her, she gets to see him act and check his integrity in a situation where he was not on the spot. He had no idea. And then when they do talk, who's in the middle? Who's the intermediary between the boy and the girl? The girl's father. The girl's father is in between the boy and the girl. Who is not mentioned? Mother's not mentioned. Are the boy's parents mentioned? No. Is he going to wait and say, hold on, let me just call my mom? Can I get married? And then he married without the permission of what? His mother. Didn't he? This is kind of bad. Some people are getting nervous as I say this. Don't listen to this part. But relax. I'm not telling you to get married without the permission of your parents. Listen first. What I'm trying to tell you is, in the ideal circumstance, the primary communication between both sides should happen by who? As advised by the Quran. Should happen by who? The father. The father should facilitate communication between his daughter and the son-in-law. You understand? The primary negotiations are happening. The father is representing his daughter, and the father is making a deal with the son-in-law. The 2 people that are having the most conversation are the father and the son-in-law. And the father, of course, first has consent from who? His daughter. Has trust and consent and open communication with his daughter. You with me so far? When you have this kind of a situation, then you have clear communication. You have absolutely clear communication. What do we have in our culture at the moment? Who gets involved in the marriage conversation first? The father? 99% of the time, the father is completely uninvolved. Boy comes up to dad. Dad, there's this girl. Yeah, talk to your mother, boy. And girl's side, by the way, you can't even propose a boy because it's bad. It's bad for a girl to propose a boy. Which, by the way, the Quran shattered by what? In this story, what happened? The girl suggested a boy. There's nothing wrong with that. Allah's book says there's nothing wrong with it, auntie. There's nothing. Besti hoti hai, nahi hoti besti. Nahi hoti besti. It's okay, relax. Calm down, it's in Allah's book. Liked Musa alayhi salam, and that's okay. It's fine. It's okay to like someone. But she did the right thing. What did she do? Talk to her dad. And her dad did the right thing because he trusted her daughter, his daughter. We have to open up communication with our daughters. Our daughters have the right to like someone. They have the right to like someone. It's not against their dignity. It is something Allah put in human nature. So if they're coming to you and saying, Baba, there's this, the khutbah at the MSA last week was amazing. It's not about a khutbah. Who gave the khutbah? His name's Abdul Kareem, 5'10". Is he giving khutbah again next week? Actually, no, 3 weeks from now. It's a full calendar. She doesn't need you to hear the khutbah. She's trying to tell you something. Stop being dumb and listen. Go to the khutbah. Go to the boy afterwards. Nice khutbah, young man. Can I join you for lunch? Okay. And have a chat. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Especially in a circumstance where we are. Your neighbors aren't Muslim. Your co-workers aren't Muslim. You don't meet Muslims anywhere else. The vast majority of people around you are non-Muslims. So if these girls and these boys are going to university, they're going to work, and they see a good possible candidate, and they want to take the halal option, the right road, then we have to open that road for them instead of shutting it down. And when you shut it down, then you know what happens next, right? You know what happens next. The fitna that happens in our community is horrifying. It's horrifying. You cannot pretend that it's not there. No, we come from a good family. Stop it. It doesn't matter what family you came from. Raging hormones are raging hormones. لَيْسَ فِي الْحُبِّ مَشُورًا. When you get obsessed over a girl or a boy, then you don't want to hear any advice anymore. We don't want them to have to think the only way they can have a relationship with someone is if they hide it from their parents. This is the problem. We've made this conversation scary. We've scared our children from having this conversation. If you're going to live in this society, you better open up. And you better openly have that conversation with your kids. Openly. So they feel like they can talk to you about anything and they don't have to hide anything from you. You don't have to constantly check their cell phones. You don't have to do that. You don't have to just barge into their room. Kisse baat kar rahe ho? You don't have to do that because they're open with you. They don't have to take that road. Open the halal so they don't have to pursue the haram. You might think this is controversial. It's not at all. And it's how our history was. We've somehow deviated course and made things difficult.